You're listening to SOBEROSO, a show dedicated to alcoholics, addicts, survivors of abuse, overcomers of great tragedies, and those of us with mental health issues too. Each week, we invite guests and listeners from around the world to listen in as we have casual conversations with regular people like you and me who've, against all odds, turned their lives around. If you're a family member of someone suffering from alcoholism or addiction, a newcomer or old-timer, or sober curious, this show is for you. Join us now on the SOBEROSO Podcast with your host, Dora Gosselin, in sharing our passion for recovery.
Hello, beautiful peeps. And welcome back to another episode of SOBEROSO, the podcast. My name is Dora, and I am your grateful host of this show. If this is your first time joining us, we welcome you with open arms. And if you're a repeat listener, thank you for your continued love and support. Today we are going to be discussing a few tips on early recovery. What do you do? First of all, if you are in your first beginning 30 days of sobriety, or if you are new to recovery, I want to say congratulations. Congratulations on your choice and on your decision to get clean and sober. This by far is going to be one of the biggest changes to your life in a positive way. And by deciding to get clean and sober, you really are going to be giving yourself and your loved ones one of the best gifts of all. So congratulations on your decision, whether this is the first time you're trying to get sober or whether you have been attempting it repeatedly. So today what I'm going to be sharing with you is some of my personal experiences, what worked for me. And another thing I'd like to let you guys know is that not everybody's recovery looks the same. Not everybody gets clean and sober the same. Don't judge yourself and don't be harsh on yourself, comparing yourself to others. Don't get into the compare game. Recovery is a progress. It's not going to happen overnight. You didn't get drunk and addicted in one day, so it is not going to be fixed in one day either. So remember to be kind with yourself, and it doesn't matter how you're getting sober. It doesn't matter if you're going to anonymous programs, the 12-step recovery programs. There are so many different options out there today, and at SOBEROSO, we celebrate all of them. You know, the important thing is that you get clean and sober. And if you've made that decision and you're here today, again, I congratulate you, and I'm going to send you a big virtual hug. Bring it in. All right, so one of my first tips that I wanted to cover is, I consider myself still to be a newcomer. And I believe that is because I'm still learning, growing, and changing every day. God willing, I will have 3 years on December 2nd, but this whole thing is one day at a time. So some of these tips are going to be, what I wish I would have knew looking back. If I could go back to the beginning of my recovery and have, a little personal angel on my shoulder guiding me on all the correct steps to take, what I would have done differently or what I'm going to note as important. So one of the first things I'd like to tell you is that you should tell someone. Now, if you are thinking or you're trying to get clean and sober, I know for myself, I had this thought process in my head, like, should I tell anybody? Should I tell anybody that I'm going to get clean and sober? I thought, if I do tell somebody, if I tell my family or my loved ones, if I had a drink again, would I just be letting them down? That's how I felt. thought, maybe I needed to get 3 months of sobriety or 6 months before I told anybody. So if I didn't do it, I wouldn't be letting them down again. But you know what? After my very first 12-step meeting, I was so excited. I felt so much hope going into that first meeting that I actually did tell my daughters right away. I told them right after that first meeting what I had done and what my plan was. And looking back, I think it's very important to tell someone. I don't think you should keep your recovery a secret. So my first tip is tell someone. Tell someone you've been struggling with alcoholism or with addiction, and you're going to try and get clean and sober today. Tell somebody that you love. Tell somebody that you know loves you and cares for you and wants to see you do your best. Tell them that you're going to try and get clean and sober. You're going to make a good go of this. And you know what that does for you? It gives you somebody to be accountable. It gives you somebody to check in with, or somebody that's going to be interested in checking up on you to make sure you're doing okay. Think of it as a gym buddy, A lot of people that go to the gym, they need a workout buddy, and they motivate each other. So right now, when you are in the beginning stages of sobriety, you are being accountable by telling one person. And this person, like I said, should love you so that if you do relapse, they are going to be there in a good way for you as well, but also there to support your daily achievements. And in early sobriety, every single minute, every day is a tick on the calendar of, I did it. I didn't drink today. I didn't drug today. And that is a good feeling and a great accomplishment, my friends.
We are not affiliated, nor do we represent AA or any of the anonymous programs in any way, shape, or form. However, some of our discussions and guest stories may contain references to these organizations. At SOBEROSO, we celebrate all paths to sobriety.
So the first tip again is tell someone. Tell someone you're getting clean and sober. The second tip I would suggest for you is to take time for yourself and change your environment. For the first 30 days, it's going to be very important, especially if you're doing this at home and you're on your own, to stop hanging out in places where there's heavy drinking and drugging. And you know what? That just takes the temptation for you to drink away from you and not right in front of your face and your vision and your nose and your smell and all your senses. And that means that, you won't be tempted. So I would suggest in the first 30 days to just hang around with people that either want to see you get clean and sober. You could definitely go check out some 12-step recovery meetings, either AA or NA. Check them out online. They're in every city and community around the world, so you could just Google that at home in your own city. And I would recommend going in there. And you know what? You don't have to know what your condition is, but you will get a lot of support if you check out one of those meetings. So yeah, take that first 30 days for yourself. Don't hang out in bars. Don't hang out where people are partying around you, because you are going to be changing your habits, most likely habits of drinking and drugging for many, many years. So in order to make that change in the beginning, you need to protect yourself. So I would suggest do not hang out in bars or with drinking friends for the first 30 days until you get on your feet and you get that 30 days and you say, oh my goodness, if you get to that 30 days, my friend, you are going to feel incredible. You are going to feel on top of the world physically, emotionally. So I would suggest during that 30 days, take the time for yourself. Don't hang out with old friends or around a lot of drinking and drugging. For myself, a little side note for myself, that is what I did. And I remember when I first when I first went out to hang out with some, friends that I partied with for many years, I didn't tell anybody what I was doing, but it was about a month before I went out for the first time. And when I did go out, I went out to a restaurant where they have, every Wednesday night, they had a ladies' night, and they had and kind of like a little art exhibition and a DJ. And I went there for the first time where there was going to be alcohol around me. And, I didn't know how I was going to be able to be in this environment, if I could stay sober in the middle of my drinking friends. And you know what? I did it. But for the first time ever, I went to this place and actually ordered a meal. So I made an event out of it. I went there, I sat down. Prior, I would just go into this place and a couple drinks in and be half buzzed and continue drinking and start dancing and just be the life of the party. But this is the first time I went in there specifically for a meal, and it was great food. So I went in, had a meal, and what that showed me is that, first of all of my drinking friends there totally supported my idea of not drinking and drugging. They couldn't be happier for me. And not one of them said, why? So that must tell you how much they knew about me and my state. None of them asked me why I was stopping drinking. Anyways, eating that meal, I decided to make an event out of it. So after you get your 30 days, and you do want to test the water about how your reaction is going to be around alcohol, I would suggest going, more to a place that has maybe a little music, maybe a little dancing, maybe a little food and drinks, and not like straight into a bar scene, because that is heavily tempting. Let's just say that. So I realized that, I can be around my friends and I can still be among people that are drinking. But what I do have to do is I have to make sure that I am in the right frame of mind. I can't be angry. I can't be tired. I can't be lonely. When I take myself to a place where there's alcohol around me nowadays, I have to make sure that I am in the right frame of mind and I'm in a good mood. And before I get to that place, I always say a quick little prayer and ask that I can be a good example of sobriety. And what I usually do is I go and I eat a meal, I say hi to all my friends, I dance a little bit. It's nice to socialize and see my old friends. And when I get tired or when I want to sit down after dancing, that's when it's time to go home. That's a wrap and I'm out. So that was long-winded. But my second tip for the newly sober is to take time for yourself, especially those 30 days. Surround yourself with good people who want to see you succeed in your sobriety. The third tip I'm going to leave for you guys is, now that you're not drinking, what will you drink? What kind of liquids are you going to drink? And for me, I drank beer on a daily basis. I also drank, other things. I drank vodka, I drank shots, but my main go-to was beer. And the reason that was that I got heartburn so bad that when I drank, I always had Tums on me and I always had Tylenol on me, and I always had heartburn. And beer seemed to be the one thing for me that didn't give me heartburn. So I drank a ton of beer every day, and then after I got drunk, sometimes I'd put some other alcohol down me. But anyhow, we're not talking about the beer I drank. We're talking about what kind of liquids you're going to drink now that you're not drinking alcohol. And in my case, I drank beer every day. Occasionally I'd have a coffee, and I drank water. I didn't drink sodas. I didn't drink juice. I never went to a restaurant and ordered something that wasn't alcohol. I mean, that was just a waste. So that's not me. I didn't do that. So when I stopped drinking, like my everyday staple, I had this dilemma of, what am I going to drink? So this is a fun time to start experimenting around with all the different flavored sodas out of there. There's so many different kinds of juices nowadays. But what I would recommend is find a liquid you like. What are you going to drink the most of in the day? Water, iced tea, whatever it is. Get a big ass jug. For me, I got it's a 4-liter jug that I make iced tea in once a week. And I slide it into the fridge. It's got a little pour spout. And I always have that go-to drink in my fridge. So the third recommendation and tip I'm giving to you is find a liquid that you like and make it in bulk. Make it in bulk and keep it in your fridge that it will last you the whole week possible. That way you're not ever in a moment where you're like, oh, maybe a beer is easier to grab, or I don't have anything to drink. Have something to drink on hand and make it in bulk. All right, my beautiful peeps, these are my tips for you and the newly sober. I celebrate you. I congratulate you. Whether you are on your first hour, your first day, 60 days, 90 days, or 20 years, I congratulate you, because we all only have one day at a time. Focus on one step, one day at a time, and you'll get there.
If you are serious about getting clean and sober, and you are ready to make big changes in your life, join us at Recovery in Paradise, where we are offering a 90-day inpatient program for men in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. We have a full English-speaking support staff ready to help you overcome your alcoholism and addictions. Start your recovery in the tropical destination of Puerto Vallarta with us. Visit our website for more info at www.recoveryinparadisepv.com.
All right, beautiful peeps. If you are enjoying the SOBEROSO podcast, we kindly ask that you show us some love and show us your support. There are 3 ways you can do that. 1, by wearing and sharing your passion for recovery with SOBEROSO and the world by purchasing one of our t-shirts from our website. 2, sign up for a reoccurring donation of $5 to $10 a month using the red Show Some Love button located at the top of our website. Or 3, help us reach more people with this message of recovery by sharing the SOBEROSO podcast with others. And if you are an Apple user, please give us a star rating and a review. I am your grateful host, Dora, and until the next time, stay safe, stay sober, and to thine own self be true.
Please hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening to the SOBEROSO podcast and help us normalize conversations around alcoholism and addiction recovery. You can join us on Instagram and Facebook at SOBEROSO and follow your host, Dora Gosselin, on Clubhouse. You are not alone, and we do recover. Wear and share your passion for recovery with our His and Hers merch. Visit us at www.soberoso.com.